An idiot, I suppose. Welcome! I believe we are live. It's so good to be back on a Tuesday, just kind of rocking out and doing some pep. Before we begin, I want to give a huge shout out to a good friend of mine who gave me these super awesome custom glasses. So I now have a Rocks glass that's got the foamarmory logo on it, and that's just the coolest stuff. Like, I should see about making more of these. I should see about if anybody wants one, because they're really cool looking. The logo just comes out really crisp. Vector art is that way, but I really like it. It's just fun, just a cool bit of fun, and it's a Coke and a foamarmory glass kind of night. Mostly Coke. We are here today to wrap up on a couple of things from last week. Because we were doing some really awesome photo edits, and I wanted to show off a couple of the finished ones that didn't quite make it, because I've still got some more going on a little bit in the future. Hey there, Diaxis! Welcome. So I wanted to show off two in particular that I'm really proud of, and there will be more in the future. I'm hoping to get through them by the end of the week. But the Texan Echo sent us this really awesome photo of him as Echo from the Bad Batch that turned out great, and I had a lot of fun kind of sticking him into this bit of promo art, and I think he looks really, really cool there. I think he did a great job with that build. And then Robbie Props, I'm not sure, sent us a photo of they made this awesome Carnage mask that just turned out so cool, and smiles so gleefully and so sinisterly, that we had to put him on something from the new art. So this has been super fun, just kind of a fun getting to do it kind of week. So I obviously haven't had the chance to put together a bunch of new stuff, but you folks over on the Discord have been super duper busy. And so I was just going to go through and, give some of my impressions tonight of some of the work you guys have been doing, because you guys have been pumping stuff out nonstop. There's people making new models for patterns, people just making tons of patterns, people learning how to make patterns, and it's a really good time over there. So I thought I'd take just a little bit of time out of this week's Tuesday to, look at that. Take a look-see and see what we got. Because this is always really, really fun, is the sort of the talk back between the community and this channel. It's just a good time. So why don't we jump right in? Let's see. First off, we have one or two patterns from CT4129 Orcs. So let's open that up. Let's see. This is the Clone Wars Commando helmet. Oh, this was a gentleman who was looking up and trying to learn how to add texture. Let's see what he did. Oh, okay. So it's pretty subtle, but it is there. It looks like we added gray to those inner lines there, and then we painted in the visor. Oh, and a little gray on the back there. Well, this looks really cool. It looks like a Clone Wars style Republic Commando helmet. Let me see, let's look at the line set here. Oh, we're not hiding any lines. We did our due diligence here, it would seem, and we painted out all the lines. So I'm going to absolutely annihilate all that hard work for just a moment here, so I can kind of see the base mesh, just because I want to see. Oh, this is pretty solid. I like the cleanliness of the overall model. Like, this is very straightforward. It's not overly complicated, which is nice, because sometimes there's a tendency when you're trying to get, let's say, lower complexity models smooth, to just keep adding faces until it's nice and shiny, and that's not necessarily super important for Pepakura. So I'm really glad that this is nice and clean here. I am curious, so is this piece just hovering out there? I wonder, are there multiple objects? There's not multiple objects, it's just the one piece. So, is that inside here? No, it's not. It's again, a floating piece out here. Actually, it looks like the ear pieces are also floating. Are the whole cups doing that? No, the entire ear cup isn't doing that, but the circle bit on the ear definitely is. I can't tell if This is 2. I don't think so. I think this is both layers of circle there are one piece. But this is pretty clean overall. I like how simple the pattern is. Because if I get in here, yeah, you've done some really awesome work to make this all the way wrap around. Now, I will say, when I did mine, and granted, mine, it's very clean. Granted, mine is not an animated style, but I did make this wraparound piece that you've made. I did it side to side, but that was also because there's like a raised bit on the non-animated one, so you can hide it. But I did wrap this through the front where that meets this here, and I wrapped that up through here because I'm fairly certain that this line here, i.e. this line right here, I don't think that line is actually supposed to be part of the visor. I think it's just a groove, like a dark line. I could be mistaken here. Well, hey there, Craynono. We are rating / reviewing some of the patterns from over on our Discord. If you're curious about learning more about making foam patterns using Pepakura, this is the place to be. We're talking shop and talking back with the community about this. Up first, we have this helmet pattern from CT4129 Orcs, and this looks really good. This is also not a helmet that I have specifically. I've got the Republic Commando, I've got my upgraded templates, but I don't have an animated Republic Commando. So this is a really neat model. I may take some time to go through on this. Now, one thing I will say I think we are missing is we've got what is clearly supposed to be a sharp defined edge right here, and sort of on the edges of this, but it's not very clear going this way, because that line, I would say, on the very top piece here, which just goes over the top of the chin, I think actually is broken up incorrectly. So if I were to do this, I would actually hide these lines, but add back in. Oh man, and see there's a line miss. I would actually flip this one so that this corner is running to there, because what I actually want to do is something more or less like this, because those should be sort of flat in between there, and see it's got that sort of bumped edge there. Yeah, it's really cool. It's a really awesome looking pattern. I'm nitpicking here because they've gone through and done some really awesome stuff, like they went through and they added tick marks to the top of the helmet, which is super cool. I will say, for clarity's sake, just because it's starting to look like a design, I might actually go through on the other side of the patterns where you very clearly and very diligently marked all those same marks, and I might actually get rid of them. Not because they're incorrect or like in the wrong spot, but because they actually sort of get in the way of clarity. But then there's some pieces that I think you could have added them back in, because we did sort of make a concession already that a line or an edge mark could go right across here. Hey there, Miguel. Thanks for joining us. That a line can go all the way across. But then this piece, which is very, very curved and very much hard to align in that way, is not in any way set up for those edges. So we could, if we wanted to, go through and just pick out like a couple of these, say, and grab, looks like that one, not that, but this. You could even go all the way across if you want. And is it this one? No, that's too far. Yeah, just because at every piece of the dome, hello there, tactical, we're just going through and we're trying to talk about things we could do to improve this pattern, and or some things that we could do in the goodly name of trying to make some things a little clearer and easier to put together. And I think this Republic Commando helmet works really well on a lot of levels. I love that we've added a custom texture. That's such an important thing, to take a pattern to a point where it just looks correct. We did that recently with our Arc Trooper helmet. I don't know, if we have some time later, we might delve back into that a little bit. But this turned out really, really nice. And if I remove the texture, you can see pretty clearly I've gone ahead and got all these markings here for the center line. I think I actually might erase this line just because we don't need the center through the whole thing. We actually just need the center at like the top and the bottom. But the rest of this looks clean, looks darn clean. That's not easy to achieve, so kudos. Big time kudos. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I would add to this. Oh, I know. I would add one more undercut right there so that you get a nice sharp corner at the back of the helmet there. But other than that, I think we've just about nailed it. Because we can talk about, you know, oversimplifying and continuing to simplify until the cows come home, but this looks really clean. So well done. As a final note, and this is actually just a good note, I think, for everybody who makes patterns, not just the people on my Discord, add your handle or your name, however you want to do it, and add that to the actual title of the templates, because otherwise, I don't know. I could check under author. Nope, but there's nothing under author. And I had no idea, other than the fact that they posted it, I had no idea these are their patterns. So I would add your name to that up there for sharing in the future. But this turned out really nice, and I'd say it's just about time. Now, we're not going to say any changes to that. I think it's just about time to move on to another one. Another. Here, let's jump down to Sopax. Sopax has put a couple of different patterns out on our Discord. Does some pretty good work, and let's dig in on that here. Let's see. We'll start. There's a wolf helmet here. Okay. So this looks pretty good on the whole. It's a little more complicated than I think we need it to be. So we could clean that up a bit more. I think. Let's see here. Are we seeing, is this hidden or adjoined here? I think, what on earth? Why isn't this? Oh, it is. It's hiding some of those lines. No, it's not. What's going on here? Why won't it let me? Because those aren't cut lines? I'm so confused. Why won't it let me paint those back in? Huh. It's reading on here that they've been painted back in. So why aren't they appearing? What am I missing? Now this is interesting. I don't actually know what's going on here. Something is out of place. I can't seem to get these lines to show back up. Let's go to settings, other settings. He has eliminated the fold lines in the settings. He removed them. I didn't realize that was a thing. That feels like a... No, I did that. I did that already because I moved it out to 180 degrees. No, it was in the settings and the other settings. He had manually unchecked fold lines, which is... I'm going to call that a mistake, because there should be fold lines on some of these. You know, there just should, especially like pieces like this. Yeah, I'm gonna ding that a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna ding some of the separation here, because see, this is angled here. It should really be here. In fact, I think I made something very similar to this. I think I made a Neo that was similar to this. Hang on, let's go to my files. I'm going to go to my files, and I'm going to pull up my Commander Neo, because I'm pretty sure it's almost the exact same model. Not just that it is a very similar style, but I do believe it's almost the exact same one. So let's see here. Well, there's my Bark Troopers. That's very similar. Oh no, the Neo. This is the one I was looking for. Download. I get that they're slightly different. That there are some important differences, but let's say, for argument's sake, that I wanted to... Oh, wow. Why is this all messed up? That's super weird. I have no idea why this version is all spread out. But let's just ignore that for a second. Because what I'm seeing here is how the back is actually separated. How this should have some separation here, but it's ultimately fairly smooth. But there are some edges. That's what's getting me about this, is there should be some clarity in the edges that's just not here. Oh, that might be the biggest problem. That is super overlapping. I don't even know if that's recoverable as is. I had that problem with a new Stark City Spider-Man pattern because it wouldn't let me attach edges or move anything around. Are you sure you were in designer and not viewer? Because you have to, if things are locked, it's not something that you can overcome. There we go. But looks like we got it here. Yeah, I would have joined it like that and then used the join adjacent edge tool to join that edge. And that's much cleaner. I think there's just some avoidable problems here. Like, this is clearly a product of the join adjacent edge tools here, but see how that ends in like a really blunt bit instead of being a nice point that it comes to? And then it's so strange because we've got the one saddled up over here, but we don't have this. We should be wanting to sort of curl it up like this, but actually, because it's only four polygons sort of across to the top here, I would actually rather put half of them down here like this, and then do the other half essentially up here. But unfortunately, we're kind of locked into it now because of all the joining adjacent edges. I'd have to completely re-unfold this, which I'm not going to do right now. I think that's overkill, I think, for the end of the evening. I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to make assumptions, Will Custer. I was just... That's super weird, though. Yeah, no, sometimes Pepakura be weird. But that's why we're here, and we're learning, and we're trying to do better. Yeah, because it gets somewhere closer to here, and maybe wedge some of this back together, just because that does feel a little bit spread out. Somewhere about there, just in terms of spacing. But that way, it's a lot more even and a lot clearer, and you're also not doing all of these cuts. That's super unnecessary. And if the intention was to essentially cut that as one piece there, I would still rather join all these edges to try and make that a little clearer, because at least if you were having us cut that as one piece, we would be able to clearly define it that way. I don't know. There's just some weird choices going on here. I think this is just a little bit too open and too papery. Too papery. There's too many fingies that we'd have to wrap together to make those curves. It's unnecessary, if nothing else. And there's just some detail missing in this model, but that's probably not anything to do with Sopax. I think this is just an overly simple model in some respects. That said, we've got the mask piece that's super clear. The teeth are super clear. Looks like, yeah, we sort of got the bit on the front. Although, we could, as long as we're here, we could simply take this and stick it directly to back. There's no reason that can't be one piece, because then it also very clearly shows where all that should go. And this is overlapping at the bottom, but not at the top. You could just, roughly there. It's about what we want. Look at that. Look at how much cleaner that looks even before we you know, join a bunch of adjacent edges. This is much clearer. Yeah, I think there's just a lot of ways we could go further with this. That said, again, there are just some things that you gotta go further with in order to make it truly clean, I would say. And then this is all one piece when it should probably be more than one. I would probably split this curve like along that line here and add this to that and that to this piece down here. And that bottom bit is aggressively pointed. I don't think we need that. Now, let's take a look at some of the other stuff Sopax has posted. Let's see, we got a Clone Wars pilot. Now, see, this looks much cleaner. This looks very clean. I like, oh my goodness. Oh, there's like interior parts here that weren't unfolded. These are the dirty tricks that I avoid a lot because I hate these edge bits, but they don't actually affect how this works. Now, did you do the same thing again is my question. You did. You just removed all the lines. That's so weird. I really wouldn't do that. But it does look like we've got at least some edges in here, which makes life a lot easier. I like the subtle edge along here. That makes a ton of sense to me. I like that you've just sort of got that inner piece and the outer piece. You can easily see how that goes together. Oh, wow. Wow, this piece around the face plate, that's beautiful. This looks great. I really like this. Oh, I love how much you've managed to keep detail in here. Oh no, but we ran into that same problem again. See, if you're joining adjacent edges, you gotta be careful not to accidentally join just like a little bit of what would be a sort of a V cut to glue together, because it's not useless. I can interpret this pattern. I would basically have to draw a line from there to that point and from there to that point and then cut along those lines rather than whatever's going on in here. But, you know, you went through so much trouble to get all this detail in here to really try to make sure that you could keep all of this together. Oh yeah, see, and you're just missing a little bit right there. You could have, not that you should just join it like this, but you could have joined that there, and that would have been very clean and clear. And instead, it's just missing. That's unfortunate. But there's a lot of really beautiful stuff going on here. I really like this top piece. That looks super clear. I bet you it would go together super easily too. And where it meets everything else as well. That's super clear up under the forehead piece there. Hola, Dane. Damn. Sorry. Let's see here. We're doing a thing here that I try to avoid as well, which is we have both sides of a pattern. So I would actually go to 3D menu, reset model view here, then control left click everything I want to keep, basically. Let's see, are we keeping that? Well, he's got that in the pattern, so we're keeping it. I often take these night shift walks when the foreman's not around. I don't know if I would keep all of the edge pieces of this. That feels maybe unnecessary. But we've got this. That actually can be very useful. I would say I'd keep... Oop, come on. There we go. Most of this here. I mean, there's some separation issues I would want to address, but otherwise I think oh my goodness, otherwise I think I'd keep basically just these pieces and flip it over. Boba Fett, are you looking for a Boba Fett, or are you... I'm not sure what you're looking for. I'm so sorry. But this is a pretty good pattern on the whole. There's some things I would change. Like, I would not make this one piece that's so domed over and the pattern ends up being so splayed here. I would make that 2 pieces that round together and create much flatter edges. I think that would be easier, although you still have a seam to clean up. That's something you have to kind of judge for yourself. But I'm pretty good at cleaning up center seams. But this is a work of art, that faceplate here. Honestly, there's just a lot of really good things going on here. If I were to take this from good to amazing, I would probably get rid of a couple pieces, consolidate a couple more things, but really more than anything, just actually either go into a 3D modeler, a 3D rendering program and delete the interfaces that we don't need, or just finish unfolding those, because I won't lie, there's a difference between, hiding all this over here, but and also the fact that I can still see it. Let me try that again. There is a difference, I think, between saying I hid it over here and actually hiding things that we don't need or getting rid of them, because this is really messy and I can see it kind of all over this. But on the whole, pretty solid pattern work. There was one more in here. We're not going to save this. It just said pilot. Oh, yes. See, now I have seen this one before. I believe oh, thank you, I didn't. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for the kind words. See, this pattern I have done before, actually. I've done this. I've messed with this particular model before. I think this is like A1TD. I think, did I pull this? I might have pulled this. So this model made its way around a little while ago, and I love this because this is one of those few clones that I don't think gets brought up enough because I really like the design. So this is the Phase 1 Clone Trooper pilot for like an LAAT, or LAAP. And it looks pretty good. See, we got the beginnings of some really good stuff here. There's some weird stuff going on, though. Like around here. Like, I really want to join these edges, but it's going to mess up around there. And we didn't hide a lot here. So this is very spread out, kind of like a paper pattern. I did do one of these a while ago. Yeah, here we go. This is where you can get with a pattern if you take some sweet time with it. So I definitely did some smoothing on this to try and get some clean outer edges. And I went through to try and make sure I had my edges where kind of where I wanted them. And then the only thing I would change personally about my old work is I would add back in. I appear to have left out, edges for like flaps for construction. So I would go through and we'd add all of this back onto here as best that we could, and do the same like across here, so that we could add a flap across that entire edge. But that's not necessarily super important. You could just do offsets. You really like the Commando. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Hayden. So there's definitely like an extremely clean way to do this. So in that way, we'll have to not really ding anybody on this, but see the ways we could go even further. Yes. Let's see. Where else can we go here? I think that's everything from Sopax. So, like, great work, Sopax. There's a lot of really awesome stuff in those unfolds, and just places that you could grow and continue to push your stuff even further. Thank you for everything you do with the community. Let's see. Pack. Oh, yes, Pack was working on this. I think this is a rip of, like, Jace 197 something. And let's see here. I definitely went through and looked at that model. It's like an intense 3D model. Oh, wow, there's a lot going on here. Hang on, I gotta sit down about this. We're gonna bring out the stool. We're gonna have a sit down about this. Because, oh, come on. Oh my goodness. Everybody, the camera is just not loving me right now. Let's see. Oh, come on. Yeah. Yeah, slightly sideways. That's the aesthetic, right? Thingiverse Thief is Jace. Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't like that. But this appears to be far and away just a complete retopologization of several different models. And there's a lot going on here. Good lord. Good lord. Okay, so a couple of different things are happening here. And it is, I think, actually just a problem. So unfortunately, this face right here... looks like that might be the only bit. This face is completely inverted. So that's really unfortunate, Diaxis. I hate to see it. That just sucks. I wish people wouldn't do that. I went through and I found Papercraft 3D Universe on Etsy is selling more of my 3D patterns again. My free patterns again. Not even like like the stuff I sell. Just the free patterns. Just totally ripped. Being sold for like $25. Insanity. Sorry, I digress. This piece is unfortunately completely inside out, which that's a problem with the 3D. You'd have to go back to the 3D and fix that. Speaking of problems with the 3D, this dome is super uneven. Oh lord. Oh my god. Okay, so what is going on here? No, don't hide any edges. There we go. All right, let's just bring it back in. Those apps. What app is that? Oh, well, oh, thank you, Kevin. Yeah, absolutely. If you have photos that you want me to take a look at, you can shoot me a message on any of my social media, or you can email me directly at foamarmory@gmail.com. I would love to take a look at that. Sorry, Aiden. Sorry for the inconvenience. Only been a subscriber for a short time, and I don't know much about those apps. What is that? Are you talking about this app? This app right here? That is this is Pepakura. This is that is rough, my dude. Oh my goodness. So there's a number of different things happening here that are really unfortunate. I think, oh my god, this isn't connected right here. There's no edge connection here. Oh, that's not good. I will say, okay, so in the interest of being extremely clear here, I will say I think that this is very clean for how messy it is. Because if I undo all this stuff I did to just show more lines, oh, can I not go file edit? Can I not undo anymore? Oh, well, I would say even for how messy this mesh is, it's pretty cleaned up. Which is saying something, because sometimes we're looking at things and they are way messier than we could ever do something with, and the fact that we do anything with them is impressive. Like let's take a look at these like two panels right here. Like that's objectively a very clean pattern for a very specific piece on the back of this Imperial Crosshair helmet, which is commendable given how messy the everything about this is, you know? Why am I still missing some lines? What lines am I missing? There we go. Like this is actually pretty well, organized. I would probably change this up a little bit. Is there a flap there? Why are there flaps? No, don't show flaps. What? Oof. Yeah, no, kudos to Pack for going ahead and unfolding this, because this is a nightmare. So how do we change this? So right off the bat, I would say we need to look at this, because this is definitely a symmetrical helmet. It's a symmetrical helmet with a rangefinder. But what I would probably do is split it in half, make the rangefinder its own little deedly bob in 3D, so I can separate it out, split this thing totally in half, and mirror this side over, so we've got a symmetrical helmet that's split perfectly down the middle like that, because that'll just make everything easier, nicer, because not only will that, clean up a lot of stuff just inherently, it'll also do some things like mean that we don't have to go through and do two separate templates for two separate sides that definitely don't meet along the middle. Like, that's really rough. Let's see. More high notes. The teeth piece, all being kind of one like that. Really love it. Oh no, I'm so sorry. That's totally fair, Daxis. That's totally fair. I'm just saying, like bare minimum, I'd, split it down the middle. Just bam, right together. I totally understand. No, this is... I bet you it was infinitely worse when you started, but this is a rough time. I can imagine unfolding this mesh, and just... It hurts my soul. I will say, it looks like we kind of just gave up on the earpiece over here. Like this, I don't know why that's connected there, and I certainly don't know why this isn't, stuck back together over here. Yeah, because you could go through, and then you've got, then you've at least got a piece that you can kind of just set together there. On the whole, super impressed with how clean this is, given what it is. I might try to take a stab at cleaning this up, or maybe finding another model and cleaning that one up. This is, this looks like it was a hell of a time. So kudos to you, Pack, because, whew, you have blazed a trail that I cannot follow you down on this one, but honestly, good for you, man. Now, hang on, why is this separated here? Is there a reason? Oh, no, I would make that one piece. It's one piece. Actually, to that end, you could just make this one piece too. Which is awesome, because these pieces that you made, no offense to the rest of it, but these pieces especially, the back of this just makes sense. Duly noted, Diaxis. Duly noted. A part is connected because the OG model has the functional parts for the ring. Yeah, but that doesn't make sense why you would connect the edge of it to this. That would be super hard to make like that. Hey, thanks for sending me stuff. I'll take a quick peek. I'll take a quick peek, and we'll have a more in-depth something a little later. How about that? Let's see. This is the content you all have me. You all come to me to watch. Oh, dude, that looks great. Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna. I'm gonna follow that. That looks really cool. Kudos to you. Yeah, no, I don't know why you would connect this part here or that part to, excuse me, or this part to this, because it's the edge, and you don't attach the edge like that to there. And if anything, you'd attach it to these parts as a flap for layering. But on the whole, honestly, just kudos. Big time kudos. Yeah, oof. The graveyard over here is a big oof for me. And not because you did anything wrong, because you're doing everything you can to do it right, frankly. Oof. Okay, let's pop away from this. And let's take a look at another user on our Discord, Grimdark Crusader. Grimdark Crusader does some really fun stuff. He does a lot of conversions from Gmod stuff and game rips. So he tries to pull that stuff out there. And I happen to know through multiple conversations now that he's an extremely into the Airborne Trooper. So we're gonna take a look at his Airborne Trooper, and also he made an Alpha Pauldron for an ARC Trooper. So we're gonna take a look at all those things. Take another sip from the foamarmory, official foamarmory glass that was gifted to me recently. I should see about making some more of these because it looks really cool. I love this. So, let's take a look here. Airborne Helmet. So this is based on a model that I know not just me and not just him, but a number of people from the community have been wrestling with for a while. And the reason why, I'm going to highlight why this model isn't great, and then we're going to get past that to how awesome this unfold is. So two things. First and foremost, this piece here is, and the dome are actually like separate from the main body. So they kind of just meet down in there. Do you see, if I zoom in here, do you see how all of this is just sort of crisscrossing? It's because they're just sort of floating in space and aren't really connected. And he was having a hell of a time fixing that, and I was having a hell of a time fixing it in a way that didn't instantly break the meshes when they met. Granted, I also don't have a ton of time to throw at this, but I think what he has done here, especially for a personal unfold, looks pretty darn good. Because if you're just doing it for personal work, there's no reason you have to do like both sides like that. We got one really awesome side here. We got looks like, yep, there we go. We've got the visor here. I'm not sure why haven't we added that here? I don't know why that's not here. I would add the bottom edge of the visor. Why isn't this separating? What am I missing? There we go. Yeah, I would go back and I would add that in here, because now when you go through and do it, it's complete at the bottom there. So I don't know why we missed that, but other than that, let's see here. This faceplate looks really nice. Missing just a little bit of space here, which I understand from an optics perspective, you might want to remove that so that it's a little cleaner for like freehanding's sake. But if we stick those back in there, we can just go back in and like join those adjacent edges and erase that. So I would always do that, even if it looks a little wonky to begin with. Let's see here. Let's undo that joining adjacent edges. Big oof. Big oof. Let's see here. This is one of those things as well where it's like, you know, could this one piece be a little better? Maybe just like a little bit better. Like we could get this across into here, because this should technically sort of come down to there-ish. And we could tidy that up here. But if we're planning on freehanding this piece more or less anyways, all you gotta do is sort of stick that back together and then just smooth that together. At a certain point, if this is a personal, like, things for you to build with, and you know that you need to kind of wood a line there, whatever, right? That looks really good. It would work together really well with this. Love that. Love how big and sweeping these parts scrolling around the sides here, because this looks really good. And this was a big part of why he really wanted to do this, is that he really likes the version of the Airborne Trooper where the back top one actually the tube goes all the way around in one piece, rather than the later versions that actually sort of end, it's like two side pieces. I have a version of this that we did a little while on the channel. I'll show that off in a moment. Kind of just to draw the slight differences there. But it looks, gosh, it does look really good. There's a lot of really great moments here. Again, same problem with the top of the dome there, where we're ending in a blunt shape instead of like a nice V. Really want to try and get the nice point. And I did a great live stream about this a couple months ago, about the join adjacent edges tool, and how to avoid this in particular. So if you want to see more about that, please go check that out, because I'll show you. Let's see here. If I go to mine, yep, I pulled one for this one as well. I have my Airborne Trooper, and I was really happy with mine as well. This one's actually based on, I think it's based on game rips. I think this is game rips from Fallen Order, because the Purge Trooper and the Airborne Trooper are now canonically supposedly the same helmet, but they don't follow the older designs where they don't follow the old like original designs for the Airborne Trooper, where this was one continuous piece in the back. So it's got this separate bit right here. You can kind of see how that all sticks together. Let's just from a perspective of talking about that joint adjacent edges tool, we've got the dome pattern here. You can see on mine it actually ends in the full point there, so that when you cut, it comes to a point. You pull the piece out and you fold it back together. Whereas here, unfortunately, you would have to sort of draw that back in. And that's something you can avoid with Pepakura. It is possible. Yeah, go ahead and share the chest plate. Do it, do it, do it. But this looks really good. I really love how clean the faceplate is. Honestly, that's a huge deal for me. I like being able to see the pieces and kind of how they're supposed to sit together. That's if I can do that with the pattern, I know it's a good pattern because I know exactly how it's supposed to go together. I don't even need to think too hard about it. So let's not dwell too hard on this. Let's look at this pauldron, because I haven't actually taken a look at this pauldron yet. I just know it was exceeding me. It will be that you read my comments. Aiden? I'm so sorry. I don't know. I'm trying to read your comments. I don't know what apps you're referring to. I feel so bad. I haven't had a chance. Sorry, I haven't had a chance to look at this pauldron yet. So let's take a look at this pauldron. Ho! Okay, now that is an STL file rip if I have ever seen one. So for those of you who don't know, Pepakura can load in two different types of 3D files. It can load in OBJs and it can load in STLs. OBJs are like very basic 3D files. They're essentially shells. They reference polygons in a way that Pepakura understands very simply. A lot of programs understand. And then it also can accept STL files, which are meant for 3D prints. And STL files have all sorts of other information relating to what's sort of the inside and what's the outside. And it can kind of get all over the place. No, what's wrong, Diaxis? Is something wrong? Oh my goodness. This just appears to be an STL file rip. And all things considered, my hat's off to Grimdark Crusader, because this is a really funky looking mesh, but this is a crazy simple pattern. Like, we got the underpiece here, which is pretty straightforward. And then we have, let's see, can we go around? Can we click each of them in turn? Okay, so it doesn't have that piece, which I don't know why we don't have this piece. Is it here somewhere? Yeah, they're not great for, so it looks like we missed one piece there. And that could just be owing to the fact that this is very, very dense in terms of polygons. Like, can you see if I zoom in there just how dense this is? But then, you know, we got one, let's see, do we have all the pieces? Other than that one piece, looks like, oh, this is a little wonky right there. I might have cleaned that up a bit more. But this one, that one, wow, yeah, no, this is pretty darn clean for being an STL file. This is, I'm pretty impressed. This turned out a lot cleaner than I would have expected. Not sure what this circle is here, right there. Oh, that's weird. That circle doesn't feel helpful. This circle feels more helpful. It's got the actual circle there. So other than this and maybe this little point right there, that's a shockingly good template for how complicated that model is. So, I mean, good work. It might have been more work than you needed to do. You might have wanted to just do some flat planes there, I think. Especially for like a foam pattern. I think you probably could have done something to that effect. But this is really, really quite good. I'm No, I'm pretty impressed. This one and the last one, and I would say to some degree, to a similar degree, Pack's Crosshair helmet. Like that's the level of tenacity that I think lets people just sort of grind at a build, because sometimes you get really stymied by not necessarily having the modeling skills or not necessarily having the thing that you wanted in order to work on something, and maybe somebody's got a free. So I wouldn't export as STLs. I would export as OBJs, because Pep doesn't. That's part of. Okay, so Pack. This is probably part of why you're getting that flipping on some. Remember we were looking at the. No, we don't want to say. Remember we were looking at the Imperial Crosshair, and we had that whole section that's backwards. That's probably part of why you're getting that backwards face, because it's interpreting it incorrectly. Whereas as an STL, it doesn't really matter in or out. It just is. Where Pepakura needs to know. I do read them. I am reading your comments, Aiden. I don't know what you're referring to. I feel so bad. I feel like they don't know what I'm referring to. Here, I'm gonna type something. Hang on. I do see your comments. I just don't know what you need help with. I am so sorry. I feel so bad. Oh, man. Okay, let's see here. So as we've been sitting here, another member of the Discord actually uploaded... it looks like CT4129 Orcs actually uploaded another model. It appears to be a model of Boba Fett's helmet. It says the model's by GUI Crafting. Ooh, that's a little dense. So the mesh structure here is a little denser than I would prefer to work with. Am I crazy, or am I seeing inner faces? Yeah, there's inside faces here. So I would definitely go through and remove all that. But this is I think overly complicated. This is overly complicated. I did a Boba Fett mesh some time ago, but I can't remember where it is, so I'm not going to go looking for it right now. That's a boring way to end a stream, so I'm not going to end the stream that way. Ha! But this... Oh, it's so interesting, because it does look like you're on the right track, because we've got these splayed pieces with that there, and it's all sort of worked so that this sort of meets up along there, and that's not bad. I actually really like where this is going, but I would probably even this out between them. So instead of, here, let's see if we can do this to just one side of this. So instead of it being all pushed towards the center of this seam, if we even it out between the two of these, we should end up with something a little bit. Thank you. Oh, good. I'm glad. I feel so bad because I don't know what you need. Here, I'm gonna message it back. What can we help you with? Here we go. Let's see here. So if we even... Oh, God, this is such a slow process. I apologize. If we even out between these two, like this, and then... Gosh, I'm so tempted, because this is a lot of... You know, it's a lot closer together at the top. This is a lot more faces this way than it is this way. So I might actually be so bold as to... Here, let's see if, you know what? Yeah, let's see if we can clean up this a little bit as sort of a final capstone piece to this. Let's add another one going this way up here, because if we can do that, yeah, if we can do that, I think this will actually tidy up a lot more than it already is. And it's also worth noting that Boba Fett's helmet and Mandalorians in general have a really wonky head shape. Like, it's not just a dome. Like, I do see people who do a lot of DIY where they're like, and I took a bowl and I stuck the bowl on there, and then once I glued the bowl on, I went and I did this, and it's like, well, but the bowl is not like, it's kind of like an egg shape, but it's like very squat. It's strange. Yes. Here we go. Yeah, also it's worth noting here, this is actually a great comment following up with Diaxis there. Yeah, OBJs are just better for Pepakura, but following up from that, are you doing anything to, like, limit the quad count at all? Because, like, if you're not, say, going through and trying to reduce triangles to quads, you're just leaving a lot of extra faces for you to go through and have to tidy up. And that's no good for anybody. That's just a bunch of extra work that you don't need to be doing. Let's see here. We might actually sort of even it out from here. I think this would actually work out quite well at this point here. Maybe take a couple of the slightly larger ones and try to wedge them together here. But I think that looks pretty good. And that's kind of the shape I would hope for, especially since it's domed over the top. You know, maybe we even take just a couple of these in the middle here and sort of even them out, because that way we get that slight dome shape up in the middle of the templates, because that's where it's going to need to be. One thing I would say about this template that is unfortunate is that we don't have the dent. The dent isn't in this Boba Fett helmet. So you would have to sort of freehand on where that goes. Which, when you have Pep, of course you can do, but, I mean, you know, if you can make a 3D model, why not sort of just thumb in that dent so that you don't have to guess once you've got it all put together. I also do something with most of my Mando helmets that is not necessarily the norm, but I found it's worked out very, very well for me, which is I actually take this edge piece that sort of goes up and over the top of the cheek, and I actually make it one piece here, because then I can just undercut it, and foam is actually, like, pliable enough to make that without it getting super awkward and super domed. That pack, I think that actually might be an argument for going through on Cinema 4D and figuring out why it's doing that, because I believe that means that your export settings are off, like your render settings. You may want to actually investigate why it's doing that. That just doesn't sound right. And that's a bug, not a feature. Here, let me sort of wedge this together. Too far. That's pretty close here. I maintain Blender's really good software. It's not the most user-friendly, but it's free and it works. It just works. I've used it on this channel quite recently, in fact. So if you have a mind for it, I definitely recommend Blender. Let's see here. I'm doing some things here now to try and wedge everything together, because it's splayed out a little bit. That's true. Generally, I don't recommend cardboard for these, but I have seen it done. Here we go. Whoop. Okay, let's go here, and, oh, does this want to tidy up? Show me wants to tidy up. Oops, nope, not unfold. Join adjacent edges. Here we go. Not quite. we could definitely use to tidy this up a little bit more. Gosh, you know, we might need to go like all the way down here and actually settle it all together like this. Ooh, we can do this. We can do this. I believe in us. I believe in the heart of the cards. Here we go. What about, is this better? Is it worse? No, it's better. Oh, it's so somewhere along here there's an edge that's gonna like fix everything. I just know it. Because we got kind of a big gap right there, and that's not dynamite, I won't lie. Let's see here. Oh, it's so close. We just, where is my problem child? Where's the thing that's gonna just make it all work? Because I know it's here. I do. Come on. Come on. Oh, there's another one up here. You know, what if I actually just normalize it entirely to the front here? Oh man, I might not be able to do it for this model. That's unfortunate. This is arguably a thing that I would say is disqualifying for me for this model. Is I really love being able to do this particular move with these, just because making this completely separate, in my opinion, is a mistake, because it makes this so much harder to put together in the end. So I might not use this model for that, or I might edit the model to kind of keep it together. That said, there's some other bits on here that are just really impressive. Like, I'm actually quite impressed by the level of detail in here, especially with the pattern. Like, this is extremely clear. Good work on the earpieces, some of the side stuff. This works really good. I can't wait to see how you finish this. CT, oh god, help me out here. CT4129. CT4129 has absolutely crushed this. But with that, I think we're gonna wrap up this live stream. This has been really fun. I think that people have submitted some really awesome work, and I cannot wait to see what else people are doing. Ada, thanks. This channel is not like others. Here, one needs help, and they help instead of the chance one asks something and they don't have any answer. This is the best YouTube channel. Thank you. I recommend checking out some Pepakura over on Facebook for more help as well. It can cause normals to flip and vertex welding at a time. Oh, that sucks to access. Ugh. Very technical stuff going on in the comments. If you want to continue that discussion, I highly recommend checking out our Discord down below. And, you know, not everybody likes to make templates. Some people just like to have templates made for them, and for them, I have some free templates, and I also do sell some templates over on Etsy. You can find links for all of that down below. It's a great way to help out the channel, especially is downloading stuff, making stuff. indeed patronizing our store. Or you can check us out over on Patreon. We do have a Patreon that again is linked down below. If you want to support the channel for just $3 monthly, I'll shout out your name and you get some extra bonus templates and just a little bit of extra stuff. Leonardo, Unknown, Andrew Valente, Gabriel Ancia, Ken August, Sam the Man, Suda Props, Laura, Ruben, Wilson Ferreira, Matt G, Cake Snake, and Austin of AJ Plays Piano. Thank you all so much for all of the work all of the support you guys give. It's really just a huge buff to the channel, and we really appreciate it. And of course, thanks for everybody who has come out to the channel. This has been a really good stream, and I really hope that we can hit the ground running next week for some more stuff. And maybe who knows, maybe this Thursday I'm doing some terrain stuff right now, some miniature work right now with all sorts of different stuff for oh, thank you, Giddy. We're doing some miniature terrain right now for I'm running Curse of Strahd, so we're gonna do all sorts of craft stuff for that. So we're gonna definitely check that out. As always, thank you for coming out, and I do hope that you all take care.